we are ourselves are discriminated, focus on the fundamental skills, focus in the future, definitely there will be a lot more people who will be valuing your useful skills than your background, for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Pathways to Excellence. We are here in Flynn Cafe right now, and it's an absolute pleasure to have with me right now Mr. Suhasan. How's it going?
Doing good.
Amazing! So Suhasan here is an incredible individual. We met at the Malaysian Students Technology Conference right here, and yeah, so like, I heard you got a new job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So like, we spoke basically at the MSTC. Finally, it's that right here. It's #fate. Well, okay, cool. Like, you're a JPA scholar before. You studied at Imperial College London before you eventually ended up working at MoneyLion, where you're currently AI product manager. Could you share a little bit about your journey, I guess?
So I guess it's about my background and my early life. So ever since I was young, I was a very curious person. So I think sort of naturally interested in science and maths and how the universe and the world works. So throughout my academic and professional life, I guess mostly academic, I've always been just driven by curiosity. Like I always like want to understand, especially like stars and galaxies, what's our place in the universe. If I see a star somewhere, what do you think? And I've always been fascinated by that. So ever since I was young, I was naturally curious. And then I guess I was good at maths, so I sort of really just love solving maths problems, and if you give me like a maths problem, I always pick
Alright,
instead of
child, let me solve it.
Yeah. Okay. So if someone asks questions, I always start thinking about like solutions, like what to think about. So that sort of went away, and then I came across when I was doing SPM, right? I was in science stream, and for some reason when I learned physics in the science stream, it just clicked, like shit. That was the one subject that really fascinated. Like that's what I want to see. I want to learn more. So I was instantly hooked to that subject, and then from that moment I decided that I want to go study that. And very fortunately and luckily, my parents were completely supportive of that, because at that time a lot of Asian parents they would if they think about physics, like what is that, right? Like what kind of job can you get? But I wasn't thinking about job at all. Just purely going by curiosity and physics. Then, fortunately, after getting good results from SPM, I got the bursary from the Kementerian Pendidikan to do A-levels. So they sponsored A-levels at Taylor's College. So I was studying that. And then, because I was doing A-levels, I could apply to better universities around the world to get into that. And then so for Imperial, it was actually my second choice. So my first choice was Oxford. So I had like huge dream of like going there, going into research. But then I was fortunately rejected by a lot of Imperial people are Oxbridge rejects. That's the running joke.
But it's a great school.
Yeah, exactly. So at least I got Imperial, so I was like, yes, at least it's a very good school that I can learn. So in my first year, I was really about being a physicist. On how to be the next Einstein, that sort of goal. But again, it's more about curiosity than just trying to be a next Einstein, right? So Einstein was Einstein because of his curiosity. He was discovering stuff when he was a patent club, right? So it's not about you have this job. After that, and then I think I'll go through later. So like I decided that physics was not the thing. It's more about how can you use this thinking process to make bigger impact. Then I came back to industry and I went into data science.
Okay. You can be interested in something, curious about something, right? But at least from what I've experienced, it takes a lot more than just curiosity to push a person forward to the point that they can actually not only get one of the world's top universities, but also like push forward to get scholarship as well. So what was going through your mind at the time?
I think it's a very personal thing, right? Some people are driven by different things, right?
For sure.
I was definitely driven by
Curiosity.
Yeah. So because thinking about it, right?
The secrets of the universe.
Yeah. I think I was so crazy. I remember in my primary school, I was decorating my science book with pictures of planets, so that I have the I didn't give much thought about it, but until university, that was what driving me. And of course, getting good results and having personal goals, like you set a goal of like getting 12 A's in SPM and then go for it. I think a lot of people are like that, right? Like you set the goal. Passion-wise, because for example, when I say I'm curious, it's only particular subjects, and I see that I'm not curious and I'm not curious for other subjects like Muslim language, right? And some more languages subjects, I notice that it's not interesting for me. So I think for people, for students who really know what they're interested in early on, right? On high level, you can separate them. People like maths and analytical thinking, or more humanities and language. Pick your interest. That is a more core thing. That will not change, and you can't force it. Please don't force your interest in something, right? If I went to become a language person, I would have done terribly, right? So
I see.
explore yourself.
To each their own.
And be experimental.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit more about what led you into AI. But to sort of start off, so what exactly is AI in the context of your day-to-day life? Like how do you understand it, what is interesting to you about it?
So the current, even though my current role is called AI product manager, so it's not exactly AI, something I've said before, which is it's more analytics product manager, but we do have AI models that come into the play. But from this context, it's more about how can you use, the bigger picture is, how can you use any technology to create business impact. And this particular element in the business is when it comes to decision making, right? So for my day-to-day job, AI is something that humans tend to go through data and analyze, that machines will tell me what it is. So that's for my, essentially automating decision making, right? That's the high level goal. You have ChatGPT, you're talking to ChatGPT, but what is it actually? It's just automating the decision making that you would have done if you go to the internet and search for yourself. So the ChatGPT is doing that. So bringing that, right? So my job at MoneyLion is both analytics and AI is how can you use data and technology like AI to make it more efficient, make it to create more bigger impact.
How do you feel that your education, and of course I don't want to constrain it just to you, but of course, it could be the entire scope of like what you're doing so far. How did that lead to your current situation?
Which is very interesting. Not many people know about this. They tend to think that if you're a data scientist or an AI person, you come from like computer science, which is still good, all this coding and stuff. But I think a bit deeper, right? When I graduated with a physics degree, I know I don't want to go into physics, but what else is out there? But what else is out there which is very close to what I've learned fundamentally. So theoretical physics, or physics in general, is very different from engineering, which is about modeling what the universe and the world around us, how does it work? Yeah. And then the closest that I found is data science. And not data science in terms of just coding and then push it out and forget about it. It's really about using data, because physics also uses data. How can you use business data to come up with insights so we can understand how the business itself is working, what are the inner workings of the model. So instead of the universe, you're looking at business. So that was the main point that drove me into data science first. And luckily I was involved with a company like MoneyLion, where they are now talking about simple analysis and dashboarding and then you forget about it, which I think a lot of companies are doing it. It's more about the inner workings of what the business doing, or how the people using the business, the product are thinking about. So that element of like, oh shit, people are thinking about this, they're doing this. How can you do experiments? So data science was a very relevant career path for people who are very much into scientists, but they don't want to go into academia. So it's a very interesting in terms of the experimentation and curiosity mindset.
Can you give us an example of a business experiment that's perhaps conducted and that you were you're able to take something tangible.
So we have a lot of hypotheses in
Or YouTube, for example.
YouTube, for example, right?
It's like you over there. Are you subscribed? If you're not subscribed, then subscribe now. Subscribe now.
Subscribe.
Alright, okay.
So in your homepage, so one example from MoneyLion is we have a product called Instacash, and we don't charge users. It's a completely free product, but it's a quote-unquote loan product, which means there will be people not paying us back. So that's a cost to the business. So how else can we make money, right? We need to get some revenue in. So one of the revenue points is tipping. So we ask people to tip, and that tip, from the tip, it's a very hard thing to ask for, right? You're saying, hey, you can use this product for free, but can you tip us? People can easily say no and move on and use the product, right? It's not a fee they have to pay. So how can you push that, right? So it was a very hard problem, which is primarily like human behavior driven.
Yeah.
So, and we had to do like, we had to study like, oh, of the people who are tipping, how are they tipping? Why are they tipping?
I see.
So maybe because they associate a positive thing with the product,
I see.
and then how strong is it? So we have all sorts of analysis that we can do. So data science is not just about, or AI is not just about the mechanical elements of the business. It's about the people who are using the product. And with the tech product like this, YouTube, Facebook, there are a lot of people coming in and using the product in real time. A lot of data coming in, as opposed to a bigger, I would say a bigger business like HSBC, right? So at not a lot of data come in. People come in, take the application, like it will take some time. But for tech products, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Cool. Alright. We see also nowadays that there are a lot of people who are thinking, hey, I need to drop out and go right ahead and maybe start my own business. I'll become like Bill Gates someday. What do you have to say to that?
I think a lot of degrees, this is a bit controversial, but a lot of degrees are very surface level. But when people choose what degree they want to study on, they should really think about what are the skills they'll be getting from it. For example, physics, right? When you bring physics to someone, a lot of people ask this, oh, you learn how the sun goes around, or the earth goes around the sun, is that a useful knowledge? Like, are we going to use it in the working world, right? But the most, even though I'm not in the physics academia role, if you ask me which degree I would choose, I'll still choose physics. So not because of the knowledge, right? It's about the fundamental skill of trying to understand how the thing works, connect the dots, right? That skill, and also problem solving, because when you're, especially in STEM degrees, if you're an engineer, you're a computer scientist, you're a computing person, a lot of problems to solve. So I will encourage people to do STEM degrees first of all. And if you like physics, choose physics, right? Because physics is not an easy degree. So you going through the difficulty of trying to understand physics will definitely save you a lot later. Because when you go to physics business world, there'll be a lot of problems. You like it or not, you'll be solving problems here and there, right? So you need some degree that will first train your problem-solving framework, your thoughts, right? STEM degree is a great one for that because you'll be exposed to a lot of different problems. If you don't like it, then you can go for a more specialized degree where the degree that you're learning is very much about the job that you're going to be doing. For example, doctors, right? So there's some element of problem solving, not probably to the extent of in business, but you're serving the society, right? Being a doctor. So my advice is, first of all, know what you like, right? So don't force yourself. Secondly, I will always advocate for more fundamental thinking skills than any specific skills, because the specific skills can be outdated. For example, you learn how to drive a car right now, but what if in 10 days, 10 years in the future, there's all sort of automated drivers, you'll be jobless, but there won't be a lack of problem solvers. The problem will just change the transformation, their shape, right? But the problems will still be there. So be a problem solver.
Alright, cool. You work in some pretty incredible organizations. So like you work at HSBC, and now you're working at MoneyLion, and you also graduated from some of the best institutions in the world under government sponsorship for that matter. But now I'd like to delve into something a little bit more personal perhaps. Do you feel that there were any points in your journey when you felt discriminated against? Because I know this is something that like we face in Malaysia, right? Like we have to own up to it, right? Like in many ways we are a racist society. Do you feel that there has been that aspect of that like within I guess like your world or like your experience so far?
Yeah, there's some elements to it. Maybe not particular examples, but I have seen, like, because I was a very curious person, right? So when there was one decision that was made, so I was essentially rejected for the program, but I had very good recommendation for that. So the person who recommended me was part of the program was also felt weird that I was rejected. So I had to assume that it's because of that. So of course there are a lot of things that are outside of control, right? You either complain about it or you do something about it. So of course we have to do something about it, right? We cannot keep like, oh, they rejected me or like I was discriminated. So from our own self, trust me, my tips would be, and something I learned and I'm doing, is focus on your fundamental skills. Right? Even if you're discriminated, the world overall wants people to be efficient. So if you efficient, I mean like productivity point of view. So even if one institution rejects you, if you focus on your core fundamental skills, you're being useful, eventually you will find a better institution that will value your skill rather than your background. You will definitely. So I'm quite lucky that MoneyLion is not like that, right? It's more about your skills, whether you are helping them solve their problems. Focus on that, right? Other than that, there are things that, there's a lot of things outside of control, right? You cannot go and like fight with someone who discriminates against you. You just have to know how the world works and go on. Right? I'm a bit more realist now. Right? So
as in like there will be people who will discriminate.
Yes. If you yourself are discriminated, focus on the fundamental skills. Focus in the future. Definitely, there will be a lot more people who will be valuing your useful skills than your background, for sure. Even in Malaysia, private sector, you know private sector what they're looking for, right? They're looking for more efficient, more productive people, right? Join them, right? So, but if you're talking about discrimination in early stage, because that's not something you can easily change, right? Like which school you go to, that's not something you can easily change. It is what it is. But I guess moving forward, I'm talking about like we as employers, maybe I'm in a hiring position, and what are the things that I can do, right? But for students' perspective, just do your best. Trust me, being useful to other people, giving value to other people, is the fundamental thing. As soon as you do that, you will thrive.
Amazing.
Don't care about the people who discriminate against you.
I'm sorry for the bad experiences that you went through in the past. So like, thanks for the inspiring message as well. Well, looking back then at kind of like your earlier life, right? And even just reflecting upon all these things, do you feel that, well, the industries that you are in so far are actually taking steps to actively combat discrimination and so forth? Of course, like, we can personally maybe like involve ourselves in eliminating discrimination, but do you feel that there are some steps forward on that front?
It's a very interesting. So this discrimination is more on the, I guess, on gender side. Because I'm in the tech industry, right? And tech industry is predominantly male. Like computer scientists, you can think of a computer scientist or tech engineer, software engineer. You'll think of a
Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, see, right? Right. I know that they are men, right? So the gender inequality, not inequality, the underrepresentation of women in tech is there. And MoneyLion something is one of the companies that really go out and try to solve that. But as someone who looks into the more fundamental stuff, we shouldn't be treating symptoms or shouldn't be treating surface level stuff. We should be curing the root causes. So we shouldn't. I mean, that's my personal point of view is that we shouldn't impose artificial quotas. For example, I have 10 engineers that I want to hire. 5 should be men, 5 should be women. I feel like that's not a correct thing to do, right? Because essentially you're hiring for a particular role that requires a particular job, right? So that's the surface level. You're discriminating, in a way, discriminating against men now, right? So my point of view and the things you should be doing is to really go into that root cause. Why are not many women applying for tech roles? Right? Maybe the exposure is low. Maybe they are scared. So we should be treating that, right? And in MoneyLion, there's something called Here Women Grow. So that's an initiative that MoneyLion Malaysia also does. They go out to university students' girls. They go and like get more exposure. Hey, you should be pursuing STEM. You should be pursuing tech. We are underrepresented there. So that's my main message there. As people are doing, it's just more root cause level.
Okay, so we will check that. Now, just more broadly looking at AI at large, because like that is basically like your lifeblood, thing that you work on a day-to-day basis. Kind of evaluating where we are right now. Like, what do you think is the core benefit that AI technology is going to bring to humanity? And how do you feel about that at this stage in time?
I think for scientific advancements, there will always be people saying like, this solution shouldn't exist because
it's going to take my job.
Yeah, exactly, right? And all this bad stuff. I'm someone who thinks that progress shouldn't be stopped because as more progress is done, of course more people will think about those problems that might come with these solutions. So for AI, I'm a huge believer of AI being able to increasing the productivity of the world, right? Because on a bigger picture, on a macro scale, the more productive a system is, the happier, or the better well-being, right? Think about your all sort of gadgets, tools. A lot of decision making, a lot of people are working on it. And imagine half of the people's time there is saved or made more efficient because of AI tools. That's the macro level, and I think we are in a sort of a singularity where as more and more AI tools are coming in, you're using ChatGPT, you're using that tool, this tool, it's going to improve your own time so that you can focus on more important stuff. And all of that's going to accumulate and compound, and I think we are in a singularity where in a few years' time, we are going to be in a rapid progress of economy, well-being, I guess average life quality. So my suggestion there is like, if you're interested, you should be going into like AI, data science. How can we help progress the advancement of AI?
Are you going to start recruiting people for internships at MoneyLion here?
So we are hiring
wait, you actually are?
AI product managers.
Okay.
So I guess not like students level, but MoneyLion, like I'm not promoting just like that, but it's a very good place to start. I guess started.
I see. Yeah. Do you feel that there's anything that you wish that you would have known at an earlier stage of your career?
Yeah.
Or life in general?
Oh, life in general.
Life in general, yeah, like education, things that were done that maybe you
I probably should have had more fun in university.
had more fun in university.
Yeah.
Is going to gold mine and then like proceeding to go back and then work on problem sets not fun? No?
Because something like for Imperial type of institutions, right? I think the best thing to in an institution like that is the people that you meet. They're all very, very smart. They're all driven. They're all interested in their own thing, right? So it's very inspiring. So you definitely not run out of inspiration from that. So I feel like I could have met more people there. But that's more personal. But for career-wise, I would say there are a lot of luck elements in my life like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm like seeing. So I don't know if I would have gone through that if I didn't do that, right? So it's I would say no lah. There's no one particular moment that I regretted. Because I think we all should have our own vision framework, right? At the point, this is what I want to achieve. Is this decision going to help me with that?
I see.
So if you have that and it didn't go according to the plan, at least you can be happy with yourself that you did some thought, you put some thought into it, right?
Yeah.
So always think ahead lah, but
yeah.
don't blame, don't regret.
it reminds me of that concept of amor fati, the idea of like loving your own fate, the idea of like coming to terms with the idea that like if you were to relive your life an infinite number of times, that somehow or another you would end up like making or converging upon the same decisions again. Yeah.
But don't worry about mistakes, right? Like I think mistakes are one of the best tools for us to learn. So of course I made mistakes. Well, what I'm about to say just now is there's no regrets. The mistakes help me with better decisions in the future, right? I think that's how we should be thinking.
For sure. Okay, cool. Alright, now my last question for you. What advice would you give, I guess, to people out there who are trying to pursue their education at this point in time and looking forward to the future?
Right. So if you want to be like a solution, right? So first thing I would say is understand for yourself. So because you can change the external part, you cannot change what really drives you, right? So one suggestion, something I recently picked it up is the Myers-Briggs personality type, so MBTI. INTJ.
Oh yes, management consultant personality.
Yeah. So learn about that, right? Because recently I've been learning about it and I'm like, cool. So a lot of things that I went through in my life in early stage is very relevant. So I'm not saying it's the accurate one, right? But it's more about understanding yourself. So for example, if you're confused about going to become a social media star, but you're in your mind you're more like a science person, right? So these kind of tests will identify at least what it is that you're looking for. Understand that, and then choose your career path based on that, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to be happy with your job. Don't pursue something that's popular right now. For example, you can be someone a good nurse, for example, but just because everyone's talking about AI, you don't want to do AI, right? So learn about that. Second, once you know what you want to do, most of the time, if you're already in the science analytical point of view, go and try the do STEM degrees, right? STEM degrees. And institution-wise, of course, try to aim for the really, really good ones, because not because of just the quality of it or the prestige factor, but it's not just that. It's about people, quality of the education. Because you'll be surrounded by people who are driven, and that will change you as a person. Yeah. So focus on your fundamentals. Because the rest will change. The fundamentals won't change.
I see. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Suhasan Kana, thank you so much for asking.
Thank you for the interview.
Thank you so much. And that's a wrap.